Alright, it's Pasta Fazoole night. Okay, this is what you gotta do, alright? Daniel, nice and easy. Boiling water. You need to season it, so start off with a nice pot. Use some sea salt. Get that to a rapid boil, alright? Next, you get a nice stainless steel pot to put your olive oil in. Don't skimp on the olive oil. Get a good brand. If you need some money for that, some extra money for a good olive oil, let me know. I'll get it for you, alright? Here are your major ingredients. Main ingredients to the show. We're going to bring some hot pepper in here. I know you didn't notice it when I cooked for you out here. Let me turn that down. Got some Kenny Wayne Shepherd playing here. Okay. Where was I? The heat I put in is just a splash of the red pepper. Alright? Get a whole onion fresh. Buy it that day. Same with the garlic. A couple of days old. Just get it that day. And you saw I diced up the garlic. Okay? I use a little bit of oregano. It's a little secret of mine. I use a little garlic powder with your cloves of garlic. I use about 4 or 5 of these beauties. Oops, one in there. Alright, beautiful. The bigger they are, the less potent. Smaller, well, you can figure that out. The more potent. If you crush them up, fine, give them a nice fine chop, it's going to bring out a nice garlic flavor. Give it a rough cut, be less potent. So, you know, I like a medium chop. You need a rib of celery. You'll need a nice little carrot here, so about half each, because we're not going to go crazy with the mirepoix here, because the carrot, celery, and the garlic equal a mirepoix. All right. Traditional pasta fazoole is a poor man's meal in Italian. Well, it means pasta and beans, but people use pasta fazoole, the Italians in brick houses in South Philly, like my dad and my nana, because they didn't have any money. It's pasta and beans. Now, use ditalini, which is short macaroni. You can get this generic brand. Very easy. You can get it at Walmart. Very easy. Alright? So get your ditalini. Don't use... Look, you can use elbow macaroni. That's fine. Mini penny. That's fine. Nah. It has to be ditalini. Has to be. Okay? This is what it looks like. It's called ditalini. These are very short, tubular macaronis. Traditionally, you're supposed to soak beans overnight, cannelloni beans. I use these great northern beans. I love it. It's easy. You get home from work, get home from school. When you're in college, grab a couple of these. Cheap, very inexpensive. I was a big hit at college because of this. So, to recap so far, what we have, start with boiling water. This pot's going to be the mother lode. That's where everything's going to incorporate and marry. Okay? They call it Italian wedding soup, not because they serve it at weddings, because the flavors marry, the ingredients marry. Okay? So there you go. So the first thing that goes in is your carrot and the celery. They take the longest to break down. Just sweat them. We're not caramelizing these, because if you caramelize them, then it brings out too much sweetness. So nice and easy. Just sweat them. Reduce them with the onion, and then you add the garlic. Nothing worse than burning garlic. The last step is the garlic. Fine chop, you put that in, okay? Before all that goes down, though, got a secret ingredient. Here it is. You want to know what is that ingredient? You're thinking to yourself, what's Dad going to pull out of the refrigerator? Pancetta. Alright? That's basically pork belly. I buy boar's head because they rule. So you can go to your butcher and ask them to slice this up in cubes and discard it afterwards. Or you just get this. Goes in the olive oil. That's your first step. Celery, carrot, onion, garlic. Yeah, okay, what next? Well, I'll tell you what next. Chicken broth. Traditionally, old school, they didn't have the money for this. They didn't have the money for pancetta, that's damn straight. Chicken broth, to me, brings out a better flavor. Everybody's different, okay? The last step that I add in the chicken broth is I deglaze it with a wine. Now, you can't drink this till you're 21, I get it. But you ask your mom how to do this. Yeah, the rule of thumb with cooking with wine is never cook with wine that you wouldn't drink. So 8 years from now you can do that. But ask your mom, she has the permission. Alright? Obviously. She's in charge. The other step, for the love of God, use fresh basil and use fresh parsley, Italian parsley. Okay? They're very inexpensive. Just go to your local grocery store. Make sure you have the fresh aromatics, okay? Because that, it just brings out a beautiful flavor. Another ingredient I use thyme. Why? I don't really know. I heard along the way. This is not an exact science or an exact recipe, but it's one of those flavors that seems to marry very, very well. So again, let's recap. We have boiling water that you're going to nest your macaroni in, okay? When you boil the macaroni, the key to that, al dente. That means to the tooth in Italian, okay? You don't want to overcook that, because then you'll ruin everything. Strain it here. Don't strain it with cold water. Don't add olive oil or any kind of oil to make it slippery. Again, don't rinse this with cold water. Why? Because we're going to use some of the starch water back into the Pasta Fazoole. That's another big secret. You incorporate that back with, yes sir, a ladle. Hello, Frisco. Incorporate that back, gives it a nice starchy flavor, and on top of that, it thickens the sauce a little bit, okay? So, let's review. You want to boil? Yeah, you read the directions on the back, 7 to 10 minutes usually, right? Take it out, put it in a strainer, okay? Mix that in. Sometimes, there's another secret to this I'll show you, but you add your tomato here, and it infuses into the ditalini. That's a little secret. I didn't tell you when you were here. All right. You boil macaroni, the ditalini, you strain it here, reserve pasta water in another dish. You saute or reduce the pancetta in the olive oil in the pan. Then, after you mince your carrot and celery, you add those too. You add your onion, you add your garlic, get those flavor building. When it all comes to a fruition, you deglaze with a white wine. After the alcohol is burned off, because you don't want any alcohol in this, you add your broth, you add your tomatoes, you add your beans, and then a little bit of the pecorino romano. What brand name? Locatel. Absolutely no substitutions for the pecorino romano. The brand name is the brand name. It is critical. It's Locatel. All right, I'll pronounce it phonetically. Locatelli. Locatel. All right. Before the deglazing part, that's when you add your aromatics. You got your parsley, you got your basil, you got your thyme, your oregano. You add those in. always season. Not too much in the salt though, because where's the salt coming from? The broth and the chicken, and the pecorino